So the Dallas Stars post their first loss of the season. I'm Danny Cohen, here to talk to you a little bit about it. And we'll get right into it. In today's game, we had Ernie and Petro come in. Um, Petro played his second game, so they had Labushkin riding the press box again tonight. And Duchesne was out, bringing Ernie in. He is supposedly back for St. Louis. Knock on wood. I hope that's true. Those headshots can be unpredictable things. So hopefully the good news holds that he is back against St. Louis. And in the first period, we had Bork with the Gretzky move, setting up plays behind the net to Foxa. Does not score, but great play. They had Ernie, Ritzkovian, and Bastion together on the same line, which I think I've talked about wanting to see here. If I didn't talk about it, I've been thinking about it, and I love that line. That's a physical, hard-working line. Demko robs Ernie, I think on his first shift with a beautiful blocker save in the slot. Demko would have a great game throughout. Early possession was all us. We get a goal. Bork gets his first on an own team tip that went past their own goalie. We'll take that luck. They had Lundqvist out there. Makes a great intercept and a clear in the D zone. Good to see him doing well defensively. And after the Bork goal, we now have 12 goal scorers for the Stars on the season. So we are scoring by committee. That's good to see. The Smith has a good save on a rebound from Besser. Rantanen keeps playing well. Slick at opening up passing lanes. On one play, he used some awesome edge work in the D zone. Hit the brakes to find the outlet exit pass. Later, we'd have a goal. Rantanen on the power play with the same wicked wrister high blocker from distance beats Demko, who's a darn good goalie. Most NHLers aren't going to net that. There was no real screen on the play. Puts it cookie jar. Just beautiful shot. He is absolutely a superstar. Love to have him here in Victory Green, and we've got many more years of this fun stuff ahead with him. So Heiskanen not credited on an assist, but he had a awesome outlet pass. Hintz and Robo with the assists on the Rantanen goal. Nice cross-ice primary assist by Robo on that one. We head into the second period, and we had kind of a goal line clusterfuck off Lindell's skate and headed into the net. DeSmith gets it when it's behind him, trickling in with a couple swipes, knocking the puck on the second swipe. Back going the other way on the goal line, and it's teetering on the edge. Heiskanen clears the puck and prevents the goal. Demko's keeping them in the game here. You know, we really, in the early going in the game, this could have been a 3-4 nothing lead, but he kept them in the game. Then Vancouver scores a goal. Hedel on the breakaway off a nifty flip home run pass from Kane out of the D zone at the end of a penalty kill. And on that one, Hedel was able to get behind Harley and put it in the net. So next, real quick, bang, bang. Hughes cuts into the middle from the point to the slot and shoots. The shot is tipped by Besser in front of the net. And at this point, it's 18-9 in shots on goal in favor of the Stars, but it's 2-2. So all of that domination work leads to nothing. We've got a new game tied, and Vancouver scores again, 3-2. Sasson blazing down the wing off a beautiful bank outlet pass off of the boards from one of the Vancouver players. Goes above the pads, below the blocker on DeSmith. Harley was out of position. Again here, clear on the other side of the ice, and didn't have Sasson covered, who gets the goal. 3-2 Vancouver. My gut is telling me to pull DeSmith at this point, at least to get some momentum going. I didn't think he was playing awful, but sometimes DeSmith is a little more fragile mentally than Ottinger is, and sometimes you want to get that calming presence. It's at this point of the game where I was really hoping that they would stick Ottinger back in there. They don't. 3 goals in 3.5 minutes, a little deja vu from the collapse of last season. Late in the season, they scored 3 goals in a minute on us and ended up winning the game. So they got 3 goals on 10 shots for Vancouver at this point. DeSmith is now looking a little shaky, spinning around and facing the wrong direction on some plays. Luckily, he didn't collapse completely. We see a nice hit from Ernie on Hedel that created an opportunity. Didn't get a goal on it, but overall, I thought Ernie had a really great game coming out, guns blazing with low minutes. Um, One of the things I noticed, and here Heiskanen had an opportunity to shoot the puck. He always, not always, but more times than not, what I see from him is he waits just a half second too long. He hesitates and misses that opportunity to score. Um, but later he redeems himself, stymies Sasson with a nice stick work intercept in the D zone. Um, then Vancouver gets another goal, 4-2. Blackwell makes a bad decision to pass into a high danger area in our D zone. Um, Intercepted by Garland, who is a crafty little player. I've always liked him. He undresses Petrovic with a deke and beats the Smith. 4 goals against now in the second period. And at this point, we need, again, either some kind of change in momentum. That can be pulling the goalie. I always like a big body belt or dropping the gloves. We don't get any of that. Where we are is exactly where you don't want to be against Vancouver, who last year was great after 2 periods with the lead. We're now down 2 goals going into the third period. Shots are now even essentially after having been doubled up on them. And we see a nice no-look pass on a delayed penalty by Bork. We don't get the goal, but Bork had a beautiful setup there. Then we see another beautiful setup through the legs. This time, net front setup to Hintz from Rantanen on the power play. It gets stopped with the blocker by Demko, who's having a great game. Rantanen with another beautiful no-look backhand spinning pass to Steele on the same power play, and it's blocked by their defenseman Hronik. Then Robertson hits the elbow of the post off of a pass from Wyatt. It just doesn't feel like it's our night at this point. I'm wishing we had Ottinger's calm in front of the net right now, as we talked about before. Harley with a bad hooking penalty. Then Maverick forechecks after the power play, wins a puck battle in front of the net, sets up Hintz in close with another no-look backhand pass to Hintz, who misses the net. Ernie, with another hit followed by a cross check to the spine in the D zone, really asserting himself physically, which I love to see. He's got a little bit more size than some of the other players in the lineup, like Blackwell. I'd really like to see him stay in the lineup. I think he brings something to those lower lines, especially with Jamie Benn being out, that we don't really have. We're getting a lot of offensive zone time at this point, but nothing's finding the back of the net. We're either missing our opportunities or Demko's coming up big, and we're doing some good things. We're winning almost all of the face-offs. at this point of the game, and Demko's he's just killing us, having a fantastic game. Tyler Myers takes a penalty on Rantanen, who is it's now the third call that Rantanen has drawn in the game. I notice he does that a lot. He's just a lot to handle for anybody. So we have the power play with 2:35 left, and beautiful rush set up by Sagan, who brings the puck in and with the goalie pulled at our on our end at this point, dekes around a Canuck and passes it across the edge of the top of the crease to Wyatt, who elevates over a hot Demko. For the alley-oop play, he is so good in tight, elevating that puck. Probably our best player at doing that. And 4-3. So this is the team leading fourth goal of the season for Wyatt, who is playing lights out in terms of putting the biscuit in the basket at this point. Dallas calls a timeout at 1:42. Heiskanen takes a bad penalty when play resumes in front of the empty net with a tripping on Kane, and they get a empty net goal from Quinn Hughes, which pretty much puts the fork in this one. Stars lose. Mistakes killed us. The biggest one that stood out for me was that bad play by Blackwell, and then Petro getting pantsed by Garland. Not a good game from Harley, who missed his man on a couple plays. We just had some missed opportunities from players like Hintz and Robo. Another thing that we can put kind of on the not so good column was Nils left the bench sometime in the second with a mysterious injury, hoping it's nothing. Did not return. So, at this point we have Jamie Benn, who's missed the entire beginning of the season after suffering a punctured lung in the preseason. He's going to be out, probably another 3 weeks or so. We've got Duchesne, who got his bell rung, just boom, in the last game, and I hope he's back to normal. But sometimes those head injuries can be a bitch to deal with, in that you think that you're doing okay, you take a little shot to the head. I have had concussions in the past. I've got experience with this, where sometimes you think, oh, I'm good, and then it doesn't take much, and you can tell very quickly that you got still inflammation on the brain, and it aggravates those concussion symptoms again. So hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he is just out for precautionary reasons, and it's not really a concussion, which by the looks of him coming back, probably the case, but I just couldn't tell you. I don't have that clearance level here yet. And some good things in this game. Miko, Robo, and Hintz all now have 6 points in 4 games to lead the team. The power play went 2 for 4, which has been on fire in this season so far. Wyatt, again, is on fire. Heiskanen had his best looking game of the season. He kind of got out of the gate slow. I think some of that is him coming back from the knee injury, which he was rehabbing over the summer and the end of the season last year. And some of that is just system related, learning the new system. I thought Bork had his best game by far. He was very noticeable with only 12 minutes of ice time. I gotta tell you, I think that Bork is our second best playmaker at forward outside of Rantanen. He is next level. He did this with only third line minutes last night being so noticeable. He had about 12 minutes or so, seventh most of all forwards. I'm seeing good things out of Sagan. He still has it. The new hip is money for him. On the game, we won 57% of the faceoffs, which is good. Now let's get into some of the bad. We're still making a lot of mistakes. Our penalty gave up 2 goals on 3 power plays, which is not a good percentage. We had an opportunity to pull ahead in the game early or really lock it down, and we only found the net twice. We needed a momentum shifter after Vancouver came back and took the lead. We didn't have that. We came close to tying it up, but it was a little bit too late. We lost to a team that we really shouldn't have here tonight. Um, I'm not really surprised that we did. We've had a lot of ugly wins that could have gone either way so far. Um, you know, at least we didn't lose the points to a divisional opponent, which is good. We've got a divisional game next against St. Louis, so hopefully we can keep up that divisional success. Bischel had a ho-hum game, and honestly, first off, I love Bischel. Um, Young kid, I think the sky is the limit for him, but I haven't seen a whole lot of progression so far this year. I'd like to see him being more physical than he has been. I think he can provide a lot more. He's one of those guys that can really change the momentum of a game by just flatlining someone at the blue line, and I want to see him do that. Some trends that I've noticed is we've had some iffy defense at best with 3.75 goals against per game so far. One of the good trends is that we're looking more physical from last year, due in large part to Gullitson's system, but also bringing in players like Ritzkovian, Voxa, and Adam Ernie here in the latest game. Rantanen's been more physical. Hintz has been more physical, and that's good to see. Again, I think that's system related, and Glenn Gullitson encouraging that. So we've had some good starts and some bad finishes. That's another trend that I've noticed. Our top end talent is producing on the good end side, and we talked about that before. Overall, our offense is producing wonderfully at 4.75 goals per game. Um, we've never had less than 3 goals in a game, and we've scored 3 times. So Glenn Gullitson kind of touched on what I talked about here. We're in the post-game press conference where he said we're taking too many risks with leads, and it really should be the opposite. The other team who is behind should be the ones taking the risks, and he wants to see us kind of tighten that up, and he does not think that it's system related, more mentality related. And I hope that he's right. I hope we can get that mentality fixed, because we've got another big game against St. Louis next, and we'll have some more content coming here in the next days. Talk to you soon. I can be reached at thefoilhockey@gmail.com. That's THEFOIL hockey@gmail.com.